Hi guys. Act 2, Scene 2, Ode 2. Sorry, there's no acts. This is just Scene 2, Ode 2. Fortunate is the man who has never tasted God's vengeance. This is the chorus speaking again. Where once the anger of heaven has struck, that house is shaken. Forever damnation rises behind each child like a wave cresting out of the black northeast. When the long darkness under sea roars up and bursts, drumming death upon the wind whipped sand. I've seen this gathering sorrow from time long past loom upon Oedipus's children, generation from generation, takes the compulsive rage of the enemy god. So lately this last flower of Oedipus's line drank the sunlight, but now a passionate word and a handful of dust have closed up all its beauty. What moral arrogance transcends the wrath of Zeus? Sleep cannot lull him, nor the effortless long months of the timeless gods. But he is young forever, and his house is the shining day of high Olympus. And all that is and shall be, and all the past is his. No pride on earth is free of the curse of heaven. No, the straying dreams of men may bring them ghosts of joy, but as they drowse, the waking embers burn them, or they walk with fixed eyes as blind men walk. But the ancient wisdom speaks for our own time. Fate works most for woe, with folly's fairest show. Man's little pleasure is the spring of sorrow. Okay, so judging from this choral ode, how do the gods feel toward the family of Oedipus? Basically, they know that Oedipus's line is cursed, and every generation is cursed, and everything happens poorly for them. That transcends the wrath. Words like lines like transcends the wrath of Zeus, and down here, no pride on earth is free of the curse of heaven, the straying dreams of men. And the last three lines basically apply to, again, fate works most for woe. So mostly bad things are happening for Oedipus's line and for Antigone and for his mean and sadly and for their dead brothers Eteocles and Polynices. So, scene 3. Choragus again. So again the narrators come out. But here is Haman, king, the last of all your sons. It is grief for Antigone that brings him here, and bitterness at being robbed of his bride? Is it grief? Sorry. Enter Haman. All right, Creon starts. We shall soon see, and no need of diviners. Son, you've heard my final judgment on that girl. Have you come here hating me, or have you come with deference, with love for whatever I do? I am your father. I am your son. Sorry, father, you are my guide. You make things clear for me, and I obey you. No marriage means more to me than your continuing wisdom. Good. That is the way to behave. Subordinate everything else, my son, to your father's will. This is what a man prays for, that he may get sons attentive and dutiful in his house, each one hating his father's enemies, honoring his father's friends. But if his sons fail him, if they turn out unprofitably, what has he fathered but trouble for himself and amusement for the malicious? So you are right not to lose your head over this woman. Your pleasure with her would soon grow cold, Haman, and then you'd have a hell cat in bed and elsewhere. Let her find her husband in hell. Of all the people in this city, only she has had contempt for my law and broken it. Do you want me to show myself weak before the people, or to break my sworn word? No, and I will not. The woman dies. I suppose she'll plead family ties. Well, let her. If I permit my own family to rebel, how shall I learn? How shall I earn the world's obedience? Show me the man who keeps his house in hand. He's fit for public authority. I'll have no dealings with lawbreakers, critics of the government. Whoever is chosen to govern should be obeyed, must be obeyed in all things, great and small. And then there's a picture of Luke Skywalker in pajamas. Just and unjust, O Haman, the man who knows how to obey, and that man only, knows how to give commands when the time comes. You can depend on him no matter how fast the spears come. He's a good soldier. He'll stick it out. Anarchy, anarchy. Show me a greater evil. This is why cities tumble and the great houses rain down. This is what scatters armies. No, no, good lives are made so by discipline. We keep the laws then and the lawmakers, and no woman shall seduce us. If we must lose, let's lose to a man at least. Is a woman stronger than we? Obviously, Creon thinks that women have very little to contribute. And Antigone's wrong no matter what. And obviously, you can tell he's very stringent in the way he governs. The Corgus then stops and says, "Unless time has rusted my wits, what you say, king, is said with point and dignity." And then Haman, the son, finally says something. "Father, reason is God's crowning gift to man, and you are right to warn me against losing mine. I cannot say, I hope that I shall never want to say that you have reasoned badly. Yet there are other men who can reason too, and their opinions might be helpful. You are not in a position to know everything that people say or do or what they feel. Your temper terrifies them. Everyone will tell you only what you like to hear. But I, at any rate, can listen, and I have heard them muttering and whispering in the dark about this girl. They say no woman has ever so unreasonably died, so shameful a death for a generous act. She covered her brother's body. Is this indecent? She kept him from dogs and vultures. Is this a crime? Death? She should have all the honor that we can give her. This is the way they talk out there in the city. You must believe me. Nothing is closer to me than your happiness. What could be closer? Must not any son value his father's fortune as his father does his? I beg you, do not be unchangeable. Do not believe that you alone can be right. Obviously, can you tell how Haman is kind of, he really likes his dad, but he's also like, I think you need to kind of think a little bit more openly, Dad. The man who thinks that, the man who maintains that only he has the power to reason correctly, the gift to speak, the soul, a man like that, when you know him, turns out empty. It is no reason never to yield to reason. In flood time, you can see how some trees bend, and because they bend, even their twigs are safe, while stubborn trees are torn up, roots and all. And the same thing happens in sailing. Make your sheet fast, never slacken, and go you and over you go, head over heels and under, and there's your voyage. Forget you are angry. Let yourself be moved. I know I am young, but please let me say this. The ideal condition would be, I admit, that men should be right by instinct. But since we are all too likely to go astray, the reasonable thing is to learn from those who can teach. Oh, ho, ho, ho. So Haman is kind of saying, like, we need to be a little bit more flexible in the way we think about the laws and the rules. And obviously, Creon is not. Creon is like, it is what it is. Then the chorus interrupts and says, "You will do well to listen to him, king. If what he says is sensible, and you, Haman, must listen to your father. Both speak well." I don't know why they say that. Then Creon chimes in. "You consider it right for a man of my years and experience to go to school to a boy? It is not right if I'm wrong, but if I'm young and right, what does it matter? What does my age matter? You think it right to stand up for an anarchist? Not at all. I pay no respect to criminals." "Then she is not a criminal?" "The city would deny it to a man." "And the city proposes to teach me how to rule?" Uh, who is it that's talking like a boy now? Oh, my voice is the one voice giving orders in this city. It is no city if it takes orders from a voice. The state is the king. Yes, if the state is a desert. Oh, meaning like there's nothing left for him to rule over. This boy, it seems, has sold out to a woman. If you are a woman, my concern is only for you. So? You're concerned in a public brawl with your father? How about you in a public brawl with justice? With justice when all I do is within my rights? You have no right to trample on God's right. And this is where Haman obviously gets pissed off. Fool, adolescent fool, taken in by a woman. You'll never see me taken in by anything vile. Every word you say is for her, and for you, and for me, and for the gods under the earth. You'll never marry her while she lives. Then she must die, but her death will cause another. Another? Have you lost your senses? Is this an open threat? There is no threat in speaking to emptiness. Ho, harsh. I swear you'll regret this superior tone of yours. You are the empty one. If you were not my father, I'd say you were perverse, meaning willfully determined to go against what is expected or desired. You girl-struck fool, don't play at words with me. I am sorry, you prefer silence. Now, by God, I swear by all the gods in heaven and above, you'll watch it. I swear you shall. Bring her out, bring the woman out, let her die before his eyes, here, this instant, with bridegroom beside her. Not here, no, she will not die here, king, and you will never see my face again. Go on raving as long as you have a friend to endure you. And then he leaves. His son, gone, gone. Creon, a young man in a rage, is dangerous. That's Chorus speaking, not Creon. Let him do and dream to do more than a man can. He shall not save these girls from death. These girls, you have sentenced them both. No, you are right. I shall not kill the one whose hands are clean. But Antigone, I will carry her far away, out there in the wilderness, and lock her living in a vault of stone. She shall have food, and the custom is to absolve the state of her death, and there let her pray to the gods of hell, and they are her only gods. Perhaps they will show her an escape from death, or she may learn, though late, that piety shown the dead is piety in vain. Uh, so obviously, what do you make of Creon's decision to bury a person alive when he has refused to bury a person who is dead? He he's that's pretty cruel, man. Right? That's a pretty cruel fate. Okay, let's wrap it up soon. Chorus says in Ode 3, we're actually not quite done, but we're almost there. Love, unconquerable waster of rich men, keeper of warm lights and all night vigil in the soft face of a girl, sea wanderer, forest visitor, even the pure immortals cannot escape you. And mortal man in his one day's dusk trembles before your glory. Surely you swerve upon ruin the just man's consenting heart. As here you have made bright anger strike between father and son, and none has conquered but love, a girl's glance working the will of heaven, pleasure to her alone who mocks us, merciless Aphrodite. So this is kind of how this ode is about how love can break apart a father and son easily. Okay, we're just going to read a little bit more. So this is where the chorus comes into Antigone. As Antigone enters, the chorus says, "But I can no longer stand in awe of this, nor sing what I see, keep back my tears. Here is Antigone passing to that chamber where all find sleep at last. Look upon me, friends, and pity me, turning back at the night's edge to say goodbye to the sun that shines for me no longer. Now sleepy death summons me down to Acheron, that cold shore. There is no bride song there, nor any music, yet not unpraised, not without a kind of honor." This is chorus. "You walk at last into the underworld, untouched by sickness, broken by no sword. What woman has ever found your way to death? How often I have heard the story of Niobe, Tantalus's wretched daughter, how the stone clung fast about her ivy clothes, and they say the rain falls endlessly and sifting soft now. Her tears are never done. I feel the loneliness of her death in mine. But she was born of heaven, and you are a woman, woman born. If her death is yours, a mortal's woman's, is this not of for you glory in our world and in the world beyond?" Chorus is trying to trying to make Antigone feel better. "You laugh at me, ah friends, friends, can you not wait until I am dead? O Thebes, O men many charioted, in love with fortune, dear springs of Dirce, sacred Theban grove, be witnesses for me, denied all pity, unjustly judged, and think a word of love for her whose paths turns her dark earth where there are no more tears." So Antigone's language conveys literal meaning, and this passage reflects the historical and cultural setting of the play. Deep reverence for sacred places, right? Why does Antigone call upon these sacred places? What do her words tell us? She's going to the places that have been told in stories past. So she's comforting herself, sort of. "You have passed beyond human daring and come at last into a place of stone where justice sits. I cannot tell what shape your father's guilt appears in this." And then Antigone says, "You have touched it at last, that bridal bed, unspeakable horror of son and mother mingling, their crime, infection of all our family. O Oedipus, father and brother, your marriage strikes from the grave to murder mine." There she is. Dramatic face. "I have been stranger here in my own land. All my life the blasphemy of my birth has followed." Let's stop Okay, let's read till Ode 4. Um, Reverence is a virtue, but strength lives in established law that must prevail. You have made your choice. Your death is the doing of your conscious hand. Then let me go, since all your words are bitter, and the very light of the sun is cold to me. Lead me to my vigil, where I must have neither love nor lamentation nor song, but silence. Creon jumps in. If dirges and planned lamentations could put off death, men would be singing forever. Take her, go. You know your orders. Take her to the vault and leave her alone there, and if she lives or dies, that's her affair, not ours. Our hands are clean. O tomb, vaulted bride bed in eternal rock, soon I shall be with my own again, where Persephone welcomes the thin ghosts underground, and I shall see my father again, and you, mother, and dearest Polynices, dearest indeed to me, since it was my hand that washed him clean and poured the ritual wine, and my reward is death before my time. And yet, as men's hearts know, I have done no wrong. I have not sinned before God. Or if I have, I shall know the truth is death. But if the guilt lies upon Creon, who judged me, then I pray may his punishment equal my own. And then Corrigus says, O passionate heart, unyielding, tormented still by the same winds. Creon says, her guards shall have good cause to regret their delaying. Ah, that voice is like the voice of death. I can give you no reason to think you are mistaken. Thebes, and you, my father's gods, the rulers of Thebes, you see me now, the last unhappy daughter of a line of kings, your kings led away to death. You will remember what things I suffer and at what man's hands, because I would not transgress the laws of heaven. Come, let us wait no longer. All right, continue tomorrow.